So if you're human, like me, then you've probably made a couple of mistakes in your life. More than a couple, probably a lot. I'm always making mistakes, but I love them, and we can learn from them. And today we are looking at the common mistakes which natives make in their pronunciation, and we're going to be correcting them, and hopefully it will help you in the future with being able to avoid making these mistakes so that you can sound maybe better sometimes than a native speaker. Hi, it's me, Elliot from ETJ English. How are you today? Yes, we are looking at mistakes that natives make, British speakers make, to be precise. And as I said at the beginning, use this lesson as an opportunity to love mistakes. It's okay if you make mistakes when you speak English. It's fine, whether it's a grammar mistake, a pronunciation mistake, a vocabulary mistake. We can learn so much from our mistakes. I have so much gratitude for every mistake I make. And even natives make mistakes, so you should feel okay when you do. Today we're just going to try and avoid some pretty obvious mistakes which natives make, and hopefully it's going to improve your pronunciation along the way. Now the first word I want to look at is the word mischievous. I have natives who join my pronunciation course, and a lot of them have joined and pronounce this word as mischievous. It's a really common mistake, but we want to say mischievous. Okay, now the problem is I think people are mistaken by the spelling, and they don't really look at the spelling, but all it takes is to look at the word and how it's spelled, and you'll notice that there is no extra E sound there. It's just a habit that lots of people have formed. Now this word's really useful because it has the I sound in it. 95% of the non-natives who join my course can't pronounce this sound correctly, even if they think they can. I've heard many non-natives pronounce, for example, a word like this as mischievous. Mischievous. But we want me. So the problem is people lift their tongue too high and it becomes an E sound. They might smile too much, spread their cheeks, everything goes up too high. You just need to lower things slightly, lower the chin a tiny bit, and it should become more of an I sound. So we have I and we have E. Me. That's what we want. Mischievous. I. Mischievous. We also have a lovely schwa sound, which I talk about all the time at the end of this word. Mischievous. Vus. Next word is very close to me because my partner works in a pharmacy, and the most common word you'll hear in a pharmacy is the word prescription. Prescription. Now I've heard a lot of natives say prescription, and my partner has heard that a lot of times in her job as well. P instead of pre at the beginning. So to pronounce it correctly, we need prescription. Okay, so the issue is that people remove the R and pronounce a schwa sound, and it kind of becomes P. The next word is mustache, because I hear a lot of people pronounce it as mustache. Now, it's not a big deal, this one. You can pronounce it either way. It really doesn't matter. But the British way, technically, the traditional British way in contemporary RP to pronounce this would be with a schwa sound, and we move the stress. So we say moustache. So we have the weak syllable at the beginning with a schwa sound, m, and then we're going into the stressed syllable, stache, moustache. So nice and soft at the beginning, m, and then heavy on the second syllable, moustache, moustache. Okay? So I do hear a lot of natives pronounce it with perhaps the more American style of pronouncing it. It's not a big deal, but again, if you're looking for a contemporary RP accent, then try and stick to the basics, which would be pronouncing it this way, moustache. The next one I hear a lot in coffee shops, espresso. We don't need a ks in here. This consonant cluster we do not need. Remove that k sound. It should be espresso. Espresso. Okay? Lots of natives think it's like the word express, so they say espresso. No, espresso is the correct way. Now there are different ways of pronouncing it. It's obviously not a traditional native word to the English language, so maybe some of you from different countries might have different ways of pronouncing it, but just remember in the UK we would pronounce it as espresso. I get asked this question a lot for the next word. Do you say vase or vase? Now again, if you're looking for the type of accent I teach in my course, on my YouTube videos, this would be a contemporary RP accent, which you would hear a lot in the south of England. We would say vase. Okay, so to produce this R sound, push your tongue all the way down in the bottom of your mouth and pull it back towards your throat. Open your mouth nice and big so we can see everything. We want to see your throat. We want to see down into your heart. R, vase. V. The difficulty here for lots of non-natives is producing the V sound followed by an R, because the V sound, the teeth have to go down onto the bottom lip. V, V, and we create some friction. And then immediately after, we have to open the mouth, pull the tongue back and down. It's quite tricky to do that fast enough. And again, natives might sometimes have problems with this. Vase, V, va, va, vase. And please make sure you pronounce this word correctly. Envelope, envelope. I have heard a few people say envelope, envelope. Now the nice sound at the end is the O. This sound will make you sound very British. For example, if you say like, oh no, you know, it just sounds really nice and British, this sound. So practice it with me. Oh. Your mouth gets smaller and rounder as you go. Oh. Start with your tongue in the middle. Oh, envelope, envelope. Now please don't get this wrong if you want to be my friend. Again, I've had natives who have joined my course and they say to me, Elliot, I want to improve my pronunciation. It's pronunciation, okay? Pronunciation. Please don't say pronunciation. I've mentioned this before, I will not mention it again. It's pronunciation. The amount of times I've heard that. Now another mistake which really annoys me actually is when people say should've and could've instead of should've and could've. So the issue here is that we are shortening the words should have or could have. And what's happening is when we do this we say should've. So we're pronouncing it with a schwa and then a v sound. Of, should've. But the problem is that because we do this, it makes a lot of natives form this habit where they want to say of instead of. But this is the wrong word. This would be grammatically incorrect. I wouldn't say, for example, I should have done my homework last night. That's just wrong. It should be I should have. Now to shorten have, it's of. I should have. So don't fall into this trap and get in the habit of making the mistake by saying I should have, I could have, I would have. It should have, would have, could have. You can even remove the V if you want to and just say shoulda, woulda, coulda. This is a bit more on the informal side, but you can do that as well. Just don't say of. It's a common native mistake. Maybe I've done it a few times. Nobody's perfect. It happens. But just try and avoid it when you can. So I hope this helped you today with understanding the mistakes that natives often make. And some people might say, well, I'm learning the British accent, and if British people make these mistakes, then surely I can too. And the truth is, yes, you can. You can make these mistakes if you want, it's fine. I'm just here to guide you for those of you perfectionists who want to avoid making mistakes when you speak and to try and sound as proper as you can with your pronunciation. How about you make some sentences with these words and practice them daily to get yourself in the habit of pronouncing them correctly. Remember, if you want to improve on the individual sounds, your intonation, stress, everything that's included in a British accent, you can learn with me. Become my student by joining my course at easyjenglish.com. I'd love to help you with improving your accent and reducing the problems you have. So thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time. Give me a big thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Love you guys. Take care.